Welcome to the deep dive. We cut through the noise, get straight to what you, our listener who asked for this deep dive, really need to know. Today, we're tackling a topic that, well, it feels like it's everywhere, doesn't it? AI and your job, it feels like this big, maybe scary abstract thing looming over us. I recently saw this statistic kind of caught my eye. It said apparently ChatGPT's top models claimed U.S. productivity grew faster in 2024 than any year since the 60s. And get this, half of that jump was supposedly linked straight to generative AI. Pretty wild, right?
Yeah. Wild is one word for it. That statistic sounds amazing. It definitely
Yeah.
grabs you. But the thing is, the AI actually, well, it made it up. It's just not true.
Made it up.
Yeah. And it's a perfect example of AI's fallibility. Its tendency to hallucinate,
Right.
basically confidently state things that are just plain wrong.
Okay, and that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today. We want to get past those headlines, past the made up stats. We want to explore what this tech actually means for you as a working professional. We're leaning heavily on a really good Vox piece. ChatGPT and Google Gemini can't replace you, but they're great coworkers.
Our goal here is clarity, some practical insights, help you figure out how to navigate all this.
Okay, so if AI can just invent stats like that,
Yeah.
how much are people actually using it at work right now? Are they trusting it?
That's a great question. And we do have some data. A Gallup poll from June gives us a snapshot. It found 42% of American employees use AI, maybe a few times a year. And about 19%, almost 1 in 5, are using it several times a week.
Okay, so decent usage, but maybe not daily for most yet.
Right. And there's a real split. You see 27% of white-collar workers using it regularly, but that drops way down to just 9% for manufacturing and frontline workers. So definite office worker lean right now.
Right, okay. But here's where it gets, well, really interesting to me. Even with that usage, there's a lot of job anxiety out there. I saw a Pew survey from February. More than half of U.S. employees worried about their jobs because of AI. What's going on there?
Yeah, that anxiety is palpable.
Yeah.
And I think if you connect it to the bigger picture, you see major companies making moves that, frankly, feed that worry. Microsoft, for instance, they laid off over 6,000 people in May and June, then another 9,000 just this month. Reports say it was about cutting middle managers, reorganizing around AI.
Wow, those are big numbers.
Huge. And then you have Amazon CEO Andy Jassy telling employees they'll roll out more generative AI and agents and also reduce the workforce in the next few years. It's direct.
And then there are those really grim predictions, like Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei. He warned AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs. Half. Axios even called it a white-collar bloodbath. It's hard not to feel nervous hearing that.
It is, absolutely. But this brings up a really important distinction the Vox article makes. Companies might be planning for automation, sure. But the AI we have today, generative agentic AI, it mostly augments white-collar jobs. It needs humans in the loop to work well.
Augments. Can you unpack that a bit? What does that actually look like?
Sure. So generative means it creates stuff, text, images, code. Agentic means it can sort of act on its own to do tasks. But even then, it needs guidance. Think of it like a super smart intern. It can draft things, do research incredibly fast, brainstorm ideas, but it still needs your oversight, your judgment, your creativity. It's helping, not taking over the whole job. For now, anyway.
Okay, that makes sense. An assistant, not a replacement for many roles. So we've got this complex picture. Usage is up, anxiety is high, companies are making moves. But how does this fit into the bigger story of technology changing work? Is this just history repeating itself?
The article gets into that, yeah. Mentions Ethan Mollick. He's a professor at Wharton. He compares this to big shifts like the Industrial Revolution. And he points out that living through the Industrial Revolution still kind of sucked, even though eventually created more jobs overall.
Kind of sucked. Yeah, that feels relatable right now, I guess. It does put the anxiety in perspective.
Okay.
But what about something more recent, like the PC?
Right, the personal computer transition. That's maybe more relatable for many of us. And the article notes that back in 1984, the percentage of white-collar workers regularly using PCs, it was roughly the same as the percentage using AI regularly today.
Whoa, okay, that's a parallel.
It is. But here's the critical difference, and this is really key to understanding AI's unique impact. Earlier tech, like PCs and automation, often hit frontline blue-collar jobs hardest first. But AI, according to a Brookings report, excels at supporting or carrying out the highly cognitive, non-routine tasks that better educated, better paid office workers do. It's hitting higher up the ladder, so to speak.
Cognitive, non-routine tasks. Okay, so not just repetitive factory work, but things requiring thought, planning, creativity.
Exactly. which feels very different.
Can you give a concrete example? Like the article mentions journalism. How does AI help and where does it fall down?
Sure. For a journalist, AI can be great for, say, speeding up research, summarizing long documents, maybe even sparking some initial ideas, saves time, but like we talked about earlier with the made-up stat, it can be factually inaccurate, and it's terrible at interviewing people,
Yeah.
lacks the nuance, the
Right,
empathy.
the human element.
Precisely. So it can handle certain tasks within journalism or software engineering or law or architecture,
Mm.
but it can't yet do the entire job. There's still a huge need for human skill and judgment. Now, we've been talking about augmentation for many white-collar roles, but let's be clear, that's not the whole story. The article and the research it cites points to jobs where AI does pose a more direct automation threat.
Okay, so who is most vulnerable then?
Well, that Brookings report from last year had some pretty stark findings. It suggested that essentially 100% of the tasks done by bookkeepers and clerks could likely be automated. And roles like travel agents, tax preparers, administrative assistants, they were also near that 100% mark.
100%. That's sobering.
It is. These are jobs often characterized by handling and processing information in predictable ways.
So Malek's point from the article really resonates here. If your job is very narrow, focused on a narrow task done repetitively, that's where the biggest risk lies.
That seems to be the pattern, yes. But zooming out again, it's still really hard to say definitively how to AI-proof your job because there's this huge uncertainty, right? Will companies use AI to genuinely make better products, empower workers, make jobs better, or will they just use it as cover for layoffs to boost shareholder value? We don't know yet. And that ambiguity, that lack of control, can definitely make you feel like you don't have much agency.
Absolutely. So given all that uncertainty, that potential risk, but also potential upside, what can you actually do? How do you get some agency back? The article had some really practical stuff here. It basically said, look, it's okay to be scared, but it's maybe more useful to be confused and then get curious and start learning.
Yes, exactly. And Malik offers a simple, concrete challenge, his 10-hour rule.
Yeah.
He basically says, commit 10 hours to actively using AI for your work. See what happens. See what you learn.
10 hours. Okay. And what tools should people be trying?
The article highlights the big ones. ChatGPT from OpenAI, Claude from Anthropic, and Google Gemini.
Great. The main players.
But here's a really crucial detail the article stresses, and Malik emphasizes this too. You really need to shell out $20 a month to get access to the most advanced models.
$20. Why is that so important?
Because, as Malik puts it, the free versions are demos, not tools. Think about it. The free ones often use older, less capable AI models. They might forget things quickly. They can't handle complex instructions as well. The paid versions give you access to the cutting-edge models with much better reasoning, creativity, the ability to work with more information. It's essential for seeing what AI can really do in a professional context. It's like comparing a toy car to an actual vehicle.
Okay, so pony up the $20. Don't just try the free demo and write it off. And then just play with it. Experiment.
Pretty much. Try different models if the tool offers them. Use the voice features, talk to it. Some even let you show the AI things using your phone camera now. The idea is to get your hands dirty, really engage with it.
Get your hands dirty. I like that.
Yeah. And the article frames the outcomes really nicely. Worst case scenario for trying this. You spend 10 hours chatting with an AI instead of, I don't know, scrolling social media. Best case, you actually develop a new skill set.
Yeah.
Maybe one that leads to a whole new type of job, something that didn't even exist before AI. And, you might even find it kind of fun along the way.
So to wrap things up a bit, this deep dive really shows AI isn't simple. It's this complex, evolving force. It brings anxiety, sure, but also this immense potential. It's definitely not just one thing.
Absolutely. And digging deeper, like we did today, understanding it, engaging with it. It's not just about managing risk. It's really about proactively looking for and maybe even creating new opportunities for yourself, for your career.
Yeah. And maybe the most interesting thought to leave you, our listener, with, based on everything we've talked about, instead of just worrying about which jobs AI might replace, maybe start thinking about how it could actually create things, new roles, new industries, totally new ways of working that we can't even imagine yet. How could your unique human skills, that judgment, that creativity we talked about, combined with fluency in using these AI tools, how could that help shape whatever comes next?